European nations are in lockdown. In France, where coronavirus infections are doubling every 3 days, people have been ordered to stay home for 2 weeks.
Nous sommes en guerre.
We are at war, a health war. We're not up against another army or another nation, but the enemy is right there, invisible, untouchable, and is advancing.
To offset the economic fallout, the government has released $50 billion to support businesses.
There is also an economic and financial war going on, and it will be long-lasting and violent. The businesses which are affected today, the shopkeepers, the craftsmen, know that better than anyone.
The funds will give firms respite from tax payments and payroll charges this month, and comes on top of the $330 billion in state loan guarantees. France has also said it's ready to rescue companies through nationalization if necessary. Spain, meanwhile, has announced a $220 billion package to mitigate the impact on the economy. Overall, the Eurozone has committed at least 10% of its GDP, or $1.3 trillion, to protect companies and workers who may lose their jobs. But governments seem caught in a vicious cycle of having to provide financial help while taking steps to stop the outbreak that are actually slowing economic growth.
I propose to the heads of state and government to introduce temporary restriction on non-essential travel to the European Union. These travel restrictions should be in place for an initial period of 30 days, which can be prolonged as necessary.
As nations across the continent are shutting their doors, so too are factories. Volkswagen, the world's biggest automaker, plans to halt all European production within the next 2 weeks.
Given the present significant deterioration in sales and heightened uncertainty regarding parts supplies to our plants, production is to be suspended.
Peugeot maker PSA, Fiat Chrysler and Renault have also stopped nearly all production at 35 factories. And Airbus has halted operations in France and Spain. Previously expected to grow by 1.4% this year, the bloc's economy is now heading towards a 1% recession. As the global health crisis mutates into a financial one, it appears only a cure for COVID-19 will heal the economy. Sibel Karkus, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, let's go to Carsten Brzeski, who joins us from Frankfurt in Germany. He's the Global Head of Macro for ING Research. Welcome to Money Talks, Carsten. Now, we've seen Europe's major economies really swing into action when it comes to trying to control the spread of this disease. We've got countries like France, Italy, Spain, all enforcing lockdowns across their countries. But what do you think about the economic measures they've announced so far to mitigate the economic impact of this outbreak?
I mean, these are strong measures, to be honest. We see most countries, you mentioned France in the movie, Germany, the Netherlands, also Spain now today, coming up with really big liquidity packages. So this should help at least cushioning the recession. This should help to provide liquidity, loans to companies, to small and medium-sized enterprises if they run into problems now, because no one is going out to consume, because companies have to hold their production. Whether it's enough, it's hard to tell, because I think more will be needed. I guess we will see more fiscal measures. Why? Because there simply is a loss of income. There is a loss of demand. And to support the demand side, I guess we will see more tax relief coming from governments, maybe even governments taking over rent payments of small and medium-sized enterprises. So this is already significant, but I guess we will get more.
Now, can I look at the centralized action of the European Central Bank? This coronavirus pandemic really is Christine Lagarde's first big test of her leadership since she took over from Mario Draghi. What do you think she needs to do here in order to cushion the economic impact of the whole Eurozone?
I think she needs to work on her communication skills, because we had this ECB meeting last week, and the ECB, under the leadership of Christine Lagarde, actually decided on very good measures. So what they did is they provide the banks, which are crucial in financing the companies in the Eurozone with even more liquidity, cheap liquidity. So this helps actually also the governments to start with their package. The only thing was that Lagarde actually refrained or refused to repeat whatever it takes. She made a small mistake in terms of communication, which means that the impact from these actually very good measures on financial markets was completely overlooked. So therefore, they need to skill up their communication skills. They might need to do more, but I think the package we saw last week is a very good one and will also help cushioning the economy. Again, the biggest part will have to be played by governments this time around.
Now, I know it's too early to tell, but how do you think does this pandemic compare with the 2008 financial crisis, which really saw the ECB under Mario Draghi embark on a huge bond buying program that lasted many years?
As you said, it is too early. I think that there are two completely different root causes of this financial crisis or of this crisis. In 2008, 2009, it started in financial markets, it started in the banking industry, and then had an impact on the real economy. Now it starts outside of financial markets, outside of the real economy, has an impact on the real economy due to all these preventive measures, and then also goes into financial markets. The completely different natures. I think right now the good thing is also it is a common shock which reaches all European economies in the same way, not at the same time due to some delays, but in the same way. So I'm not concerned here that Europe will act. Will we need more? Whatever it takes. We might need more, whatever it takes, from European governments to really make sure that they will pave the way, because this is the biggest difference compared with 2008, 2009. It is governments which have to bring the solution to the crisis and no longer the ECB.
Okay, Carsten Brzeski from ING Research in Frankfurt, thank you so much for your analysis.